winter wonderland to behold. Ah, how wonderful to imagine. Never mind that whole business about the primevals, though, right? Diablo 2, Lord of Destruction. Time to play the actual expansion act. Act 5. It's been 6 days since I last played. It has been plenty of time for me to reflect on the game, where it's gone. Of course, viewer feedback. You folks aren't too far behind in the middle of Act 4 at this point. As was the case with Act 4 start, I'm going to gasbag a bit. I will provide a timestamp in the video description for when I'm fighting and killing dudes instead of gasbagging. Okie dokie. Alira, this hardcore Amazon character being played in single player, which I've proven that almost all my knowledge ain't in. Like my usage of the player's command. And how it carries over between sessions and obviously can't apply, like, when a monster has literally spawned in front of your face and, like, is on screen. Works best for, like, level transitions, but also if it hasn't been, like, positioned or placed yet. It's a good time for it. Other thoughts would include, preserving some chip gems to convert runes to higher grade runes. Rune conversion starts taking gems to transition to other runes when you get high enough, the Thuls and above. And also, you can use chip gems combined with health and mana potions to make rejuve potions. You'd use a normal gem to make full rejuves. After some time spent running Diablo, and then I poked my head to visit Mephisto and the Council, I took a look at the patch notes for the game. I was confused as to why I never saw Iron Maiden, the curse, be cast on me, and that's because in 1.13 time, they patched that out. It was actually patched out before the series I did with Bobo and JJ, which means that probably came up in the comments during that series, and I just point-blank forgot. I wasn't playing a melee character at the time, so it makes sense. But it probably came up then, and I forgot. Too many experiences in the Chaos Sanctuary, staring down Iron Maiden, and fleeing in terror, if not dying. Back in the day, say for example, a Paladin Zeal could go far above the number of attacks it's limited to these days, and you could be committed to death. Good times. Yeah, so knowledge is definitely rusty, and that combined with my lack of familiarity with the Amazon has resulted in overall a cautious playstyle. I've taken a few risks. We've certainly been in a few dicey situations. The Smith in Act 1 comes to mind. I mean, you end up in those situations at least once, right? Rakanishu, Treehead Woodfist, guarding the Scroll of Infist in the Darkwood. You know, some dumb situation pops up that really tests you. You know, you get yourself in a pickle, a jam, or you get unlucky. Shit like that happens. Which is part of what makes hardcore so tense, because any, like, internal or external influence can be the difference between life or death, particularly on Hell difficulty. The game has changed significantly over the versions. Once upon a time, for example, you couldn't buy mana potions. Once upon a time, there was no synergies. You didn't have mercenaries who carried over with you between acts. You didn't have rune words. You didn't have charms. Game has, like, so much of this has changed. Like, my Diablo 1 strategy guide, still fairly relevant and practical to playing Diablo 1. My Diablo 2 strategy guide? Might as well set that shit on fire, or use it as a coaster, because of how extensively this game has changed, and, my memories sort of blur together. Keep in mind, this game came out back in 2000. The expansion came out in 2001. 18 years ago. 17 for the expansion. And while I certainly did invest time into this game around release, I was also doing other things. Playing other games. Being a teenager. Just can't remember all the details. Right, so another one of the things that's changed is the immunes. Hell difficulty, one of the several reasons why Hell is so fierce, but certain other enemies can be problematic in lower difficulties too, is the introduction of like a fire immune, a cold immune, a lightning immune, a physical immune. I'll link Syrian's Restaurant of Eternity in the video description, where he did wonderful after-action reports for things I enjoyed, like the original Galactic Civilizations, and also some Diablo 2 characters, including Ember, which was a severe challenge run that he took on Nightmare difficulty, using only Firebolt and Warmth. Yeah, just Firebolt. A playstyle like that would certainly be harder. You could run into someone who's fire enchanted, like Bishibosh, for example, outright fire immune, and you're like, oh, well, shit. Some lightning enchanted folks I've encountered, say in the Chaos Sanctuary when I was doing runs of Diablo, lightning immune. On normal difficulty, it's like, ooh, well, I better pull out my jab. Speaking of which, why don't we go ahead and hotkey that? I could use my poison stuff, but we'll jab him. We'll poke him with a stick. Alright. Alright. And, some viewers not too familiar with the game have been using me as like a reference point for knowledge of the game. I have some. I don't know whether you should trust it. There's plenty of Diablo 2 sources and references out there that have been made over the past 18 years. I'd say go for that stuff before counting on Grimith, whose memory is worse than it ever has been. Alright, alright. One final thing I'd like to ramble about, since I brought up Diablo 1 and then Diablo 2, is a reflection on your private stash. The Diablo 1 single player, and of course I reflected upon this whenever I played Diablo 1 last year, albeit with the Beelzebub mod. Original Diablo 1, if you're playing single player, you could decorate the ground with all kinds of items, like say resist gear, like separate gear, and you could swap out as you need be. Diablo 2 instead gives you a stash, albeit with a limited space. Now, the perk is that you can actually have that in multiplayer. The flip side, in single player, this space ends up being less than you being able to decorate Tristram with all of your goodies. I think a game such as this, you can consider inventory management to be a worthy challenge, trying to balance all of everything you desire with the fact that you have exceedingly limited inventory space. But that becomes frustrating when this game is about collecting items and gear and shinies. And there are games which are less so dedicated that allow you to collect items and store them conveniently. Dungeon crawlers come to mind, which this is less so than the original Diablo 1, but still does fit the bill of being a dungeon crawler, where you could clear out an area which would be suitable for storing your gear. Just doesn't work in Diablo 2. Like that. As such, one of the, I do advocate folks playing games how they would like. One of the, when I started the series, I mentioned that I was tempted and thinking about doing stuff, and that would include, expanding stash size. Or, expanding the amount of items that, I could maintain. And I elected not to do that because I didn't want to get into a hoarding mentality, but I certainly understand why folks would pursue third-party means for doing those things. Whether it's using a third-party program to run multiple copies of Diablo 2 on the same computer so that you could join each other in a TCP/IP or LAN thing so that you could mule over stuff in that fashion, or whether using I think it's called Atma, that you could use to access character inventories and like look at item levels and ferry out items. Because I know there have been forums that have allowed like that like sponsor like trades that people make in single player, like single player items. Weird, but yeah. Or Pluggy has been something that's mentioned a number of times in the comments that people have been using. It does require 1.13. It has not been updated for 1.14. But among several of the other features it has that you can turn on or off, its primary thing is an unlimited private stash, which includes not just a personal one, but a shared one as well. I totally understand the attraction for those things, based on how Diablo 2 is designed. Carrying, like, resist gear, magic find gear, and all sorts of other, like, items and trinkets is really difficult to do in Diablo 2. I can understand where some folks see that's part of the challenge, and others would see that as a detriment to gameplay. And hindrance thereof. Right. So, with that in mind, let's talk about how my character has changed since the last time you saw her. She's level 30 now. I've got 10 stat points remaining to spend, which I probably feel would go into... some of those would go into Vitality. I feel good about that life total. And then the other 5... more on that in a moment. We also have 5 skill choices remaining. One of which will go into Lightning Fury, which changes a thrown javelin into a powerful bolt of lightning that splits on impact. Note that says thrown javelin. This is a javelin that you throw. This is a spear. You don't throw that. We're going to work on investing in that also. I have a point in Pierce to invest. Delicious, delicious, delicious. Beyond that, since I can't invest in Lightning Fury anymore, I'm going to work on investing more in Charge Strike. Ta-da! 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 These will be my 2 primary attack skills. Charge Strike, Lightning Fury, maybe some Power Strike. I think this will be how it works. If not, Akara gives me a respec. By the way, Akara used to not offer a respec. I don't know how Lightning Fury is going to work out for me. We'll see where the road takes us. Alright, how has gear changed? Well, we've got Doom Pale Main Javelin. We've got our Stealth Chainmail. We have Doomguard Bone Shield. We've got Venom Grip, these Demon Hide Gloves. Provide maximum poison resist. We've got a 5% chance of crushing blow. I've got Bee Circle, which is providing me some fire and poison resist. I've got Saigon's Wrap, which I was looking for better belts, and that ended up coming up right as I was running out of money. Was my last gamble. Plus 20 to life, and fire resist plus 20%. I've got Skull Whirl, which has some mana and some lightning resist for us. I've got Stone Track, which is providing faster run walk, cold resist, and some slight better chance of getting magic items. Which is nice to have, because the magic find gear I got to do shit against Diablo and Mephisto, I sold. I picked up items in Act 2. We have Doom Collar, which is our Necromancer Curses Amulet, which is also giving us all resistances. And I have Iratha's Coil, which is giving us plus 30% lightning and fire resist. Delicious. The secondary is Grim Gutter, which has a fast attack speed. One of its things there is a plus 20% increased attack speed, which is nifty. Based on where I intend to go with Lightning Fury, I will not be using a two-handed weapon for much longer, unless, Lightning Fury doesn't work out for me. I still want to play around with this, though. And I still don't think it was much of a mistake to increase strength, as I do plan on getting better weapons, and for that I will need more strength and dexterity. You know, as I transition into Nightmare and Hell, like exceptional and then elite versions will drop, assuming I make it that far. Regarding survivability, I don't think I'll have too much trouble in Act 5. I don't think I'll have a problem making it to Nightmare. There could be a few hurdles, one of which is that I am slightly tired. Not full strength. Been doing a lot of streaming with some recording and been busy. And I'm not at 100% capacity, which is a great thing to think about when you're heading into hardcore. You can see I have 3 fools here. With a few other minor knickknacks and gems. I have Graven Spine because I wanted to show that to you folks. That dropped for me, +2 to Necromancer skill levels, +39 to mana. I'm like, damn! I mean, that other stuff is like, especially like the hit things. What are you gonna do, stab someone with the damn wand? Come on, man. For a Necro, though, required level 20, that's a pretty nice wand. Pretty nice early game, level 20, being early game. I mean, you can reach level 20 in Act 1. The game wand. Some other knickknacks I have in my inventory include Raven Cord. I believe that was my old belt. We're going to be selling that. I have a 2-socketed bone shield. I was thinking of making the rhyme rune word with and then saving that, but that requires a shale and F. And shale, I mean, I can get a 2-socketed shield in Nightmare. I've got Eagle Suit here, which has a required strength of 65. It has 2 sockets. Obviously, I can't make a rune word with this, but that's pretty neat. It has almost double the defense of stealth, and I can socket that with some cool things. I have this 3-socketed kite shield that I chose to buy to make Ancient's Pledge. The expansion was an introduction to rune words, and one of the quests here gives you a rune word, effectively. Slap that in, and that will take care of resist that my helmet doesn't have to take care of, because I've got circlets. There's this one, which adds 8 to 21 cold damage, cold resist +38, +4 to mana after each kill, magic damage reduced by 3. You look at that +4 to mana after each kill, you're like, Some cold damage, too, in case we run into a lightning immune, or hey, we could, like, freeze people. Or, like, chill them at least. That's not bad. But then we have this Imp Cow, which adds 1 to 118 lightning damage, 55 to life. Also adds some poison length reduction. That +55 to life. Oh my goodness. What a treasure trove. And that 1 to 118 lightning damage means that even if I'm not using my special abilities due to a lack of mana, I'm still dealing a solid chunk of damage. Of course, equipping this drops my fire and lightning resist. The damage, though, which is why I'm thinking of rocking Ancient's Pledge. I lose out on some chance to block, but I think it's worth the exchange in the grand scheme of things to get this extra damage and that +55 to life. This, I mean, thought about it, the 21 cold damage, it's the nice thing, the +4 to mana after each kill may really make this better than the Imp Cow. I haven't taken either circlets for a spin. I don't know, but I think I'm going to sell this. I do have, like, my +4 to mana after each kill, like, strongly considering it. But, I mean, I can always just down more mana potions, right?
What do you need?
So let's sell some stuff. We have this to sell. And I have that to sell. And this. Finally, the Merc, who has Bramble Visage, who has this Ghoul Pelt, which has a socket in it. And he has Brutal Pike of the Leech, which has some lifesteal on it. 435 life. Fazell, as an Act 2 Merc, works out well for what I want, or what I'm doing in this game. I end up, like, mixing it up in melee combat, and his Defiance aura boosts my defense. It's viable, and I considered this during these 6 days, bringing an Act 3 Merc instead, who has cold attacks, who has armor, effectively like this frozen armor, where if he's attacked, the enemy is frozen. You know, he can really help you crowd control. But he has much less life. He doesn't mix it up in melee. Fizel does. He takes heat off of me. I suppose the Act 3 Merc would too. Ha 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 ha. But this works out pretty nicely for us, I feel. Considering giving him the Eagle suit, it's 5 less defense. It has less hit recovery, but it has the 2 sockets instead of 1. And I feel like we can make some good use out of that, despite this slight drop in defense. I've been thinking about replacing stealth. I think I'm just going to hold off on that. I'm enjoying the faster run speed. I'll look to replace that in Nightmare. There is a rune word specific to Amazons added in one of the patches, which I'll be able to implement, which will be a bonus to Amazon skill levels. And that's what I'll replace that with. So we'll check this ghoul pelt too. Yep. So we do have some cash. I'm going to keep this shield on hand. I don't have a slot for it. Whew. Okay, so 21 minutes in, and we're effectively here at the point where I'm ready to go out here. This could be like an entire video unto itself. And really, I can just sell Graven Spine. We looked at it, we admired it, it was pretty, we can move on, right? Goodbye, Graven Spine. Would have been nice for a baby Necro, but a baby Necro I do not have. Regarding those 2 sockets on Fizel's gear, his torso piece that I've given him, one of them is definitely going to be devoted to this Rusty Jewel of Carnage. Plus 11 max damage, plus 20% enhanced damage. The other, I think I'm going to give a Flawless Ruby for plus 31 to life. I would like to give him better odds of survival, and one of the ways I feel I can do that is by increasing his life pool.
I can't use that.
So the damage from 71 to 223, 78 to 266. And its life pool goes up to 472. His resists are pretty good. Mine, of course, are pretty good too. We reflect now on these final stat points, and I think, since I plan on replacing my shield with one that has a worse chance to block, I am going to put these points into dexterity for the time being. Alright, whew. Spent a lot of time gas bagging there. Part of it is my fatigued brain here. As we head on out, we are going to go stop a siege. So one of the ways in which I am playing cautiously, besides like choosing not to fiddle around with like the players thing,
must be stopped,
is that while I've talked about it on a few occasions, I've not actually chosen to get a teleport staff into my secondary slot. That Grim Gutter ends up being a blessing in disguise on that front. By doing that, I would expose myself to more risk by teleporting more quickly across the map. I'd cover more distance, but I could end up getting myself into some uncomfortable positions, we'll say. We'll make that town portal an F6, I suppose. I am curious to try this out. Okay. That certainly does consume thrown javelins there. So I can see why I would put this on this position. Lightning Fury. And then have this devoted to, say, a charge strike or a power strike, depending on the situation. And hopefully I don't run out of javelins, because that would be really fucking bad. Having a thrown weapon, whose one of their benefits is replenishes stack size, is a good thing to have on thrown weapon. When I had my throw barbed so much time ago, feels like forever ago, I certainly had to invest in thrown items that replenished automatically over time. Otherwise, we'd be in a bad way. We do gobs of damage, which is delicious. and makes me happy. Let's relax and do some damn killing, yeah? Relax and Diablo 2 hardcore, right? So far, I'm liking the potential here. The amount of damage ideal. What do we have here? Is it Cathan's Ring? That's Angelic Halo. Throw that in the garbage. Also, I am willing to increase the players' count, I feel, to... Let's do 4. We output a lot of damage. And so, I feel it's okay for me to increase the players' count here. And this is how the run ends. We'll see. I haven't had any great situations to test out the Lightning Fury. I haven't had, like, any large groups of enemies. Cow level would really be a great test for that. Oh, what's that? We have a Gothic shield there. Now, is that ethereal? Do we have some sockets on that? We definitely have some sockets on that. Do we have 3 sockets on that? Damn, we have 1 socket. Well, it's good to have dreams. Didn't quite work out for me, though. Oh, that is another level up for Grim. Hooray. Whoa. Hey, now. You calm the hell down. Why don't we put these points into dexterity? Full axe. What do we have on that? 1 socket. Not worth my time. Surviving alright. Take a little bit of damage from those guys. But I'm killing very quickly. How much mana does this cost me? 10.5. I have 2 cost me 7.2. That's another poleaxe. We got on this one 3 sockets. That is a huge damage downgrade from a pike, though. I probably shouldn't look on replacing that with something like a poleaxe. There's one thing that can be said about Act 5, it's that there's a lot of running. There's a lot of ground to cover here in Harugath, as effectively you're making your way up to Worldstone Keep. You can also spend this skill point, and I will spend it on that. That will increase the mana cost. Haven't really alleviated the mana issues that this build is having throughout normal difficulty here. One moment. There was a mosquito resting on my middle finger knuckle, having a nibble while I'm playing this damn game. Very rude. Had to give that mosquito a stern talking to. Figured he would have decided to have a rest while I was blabbing for those 20 minutes or so beforehand. Oh well. We've got a few mana potions left. It should be enough to take us to Shank. Can't be much further ahead now. Here we go. We'll see how we end up doing against Shank. Oh shit, no, we ran past him. Alright. Let's give this a spin. Nice. The one is a piece of junk. Will not sell for anything. Damn, I cut our line off in the middle of that. Also, Oglin Manucks. There's another mosquito around. It's the summertime. It is mosquito time. Their time to flourish.
You're an even greater warrior than I expected. Sorry for underestimating
you. You should be.
As a token of my appreciation, I will craft sockets into an item of your choosing. And from now on, you'll get the best price for all my wares.
So, your boy here, Larzuk, will actually slap sockets into anything that could hold a socket. Even a unique item, he'll give it a socket. Pretty cool. Unfortunately, finding normal gear is a nigh impossibility at this point. If you want to, like, say, like, find, like, normal socketed stuff, it's all gonna be magical. Which is cool. If I wanted that, that sturdy plate mail I can actually equip thanks to, well, no. Yeah. Larg. 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 No thanks. We'll pass. Have a nice day. That's that quest completed? Well, sort of. Now we're going to rescue soldiers on Mount Ariad.
Hello.
Hello. I have some potions to buy. What's my health? My mana pool. Great. Ooh. Could actually convert those into a flawless skull, and I believe I shall. Rescuing the barbarians should be what gets me Ral or Tal, which I don't have all those on hand. Otherwise, I could make Ancient's Pledge right now. And since I have a few chippies, why don't we show off? 1, 2... I know I just bought these things, but whatever. We'll get more. We'll find more. We'll sob profusely. There's a rejuve. Ta-da! There's a full rejuve. Ta-da! Actually, got some decent room in here now. Where I can slap that in. Great. Okay, let's get moving. Got a waypoint here, now we're going to be looking for imprisoned barbs. Find soldiers in the Frigid Highlands. Time for these little teleporting bastards. Go ahead and pick these up. Is this worth merit? I don't think that will sell for much. These damn rascals. Teleporting around. They are aggravating. Oh, another Tal rune. That Crush Beast also didn't really look like it gave a fuck about my Lightning Fury. Alright, you can easily be distracted here running around, bumbling and stumbling aimlessly into those damn flamethrower towers that they teleport onto, and use their magic against you. Good thing that I have that 45% faster run walk speed, and I have really nice resist. No teleport, but we'll make do. Is this Cold Shrine? I don't really think that's an issue. that is a portal to a place that we don't need to go to. I forget how deep into the Frigid Highlands you'll start seeing, these folks. I accidentally picked up that cedar bow, which I have no interest in. I might have to comb back to go looking for a group. I have to find 10 more soldiers, I have to find 2 more groups. Gazelle's also doing a good job of surviving, despite... It was a gem that dropped, wasn't there? Might have killed someone on a bounce and had been some distance away. That was a key, maybe? Whatever. Yeah, Fazell's doing a good job of surviving here. And I am glad for that. It's certainly troublesome if I have to keep reviving my, my attack sponge. You know, better him than me, right? But at the same time, it's like, Let's keep moving forward, and if I have to double back, I will. That gnarled staff could be worth something, since it would have pluses to sorcerer skills. Not the arrows, though. Yeah. That'll probably sell for a bit. Right on my knuckle, too. Damn thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to double back to get the rest of those encampments. The available ground here is shrinking. I've already left the valid area. I have gone too far. So why don't I portal back? We'll do this jog again. I probably should have kept going until I tagged a waypoint further ahead. Oh well. Fire breastplate. That's not going to be anything wonderful to me, but Eisenhardt's case. Plus 40 defense and magic damage reduced by 2. Not a bad thing if I was in, say, Act 2. I mean, it technically has more defense than what I'm rocking here. But, I've got other things. Other perks. Well, there's another imprisoned area right there. Let's rescue them. I'll think about it. Okay? Oh, what the hell do we have here? Damn things. Teleport and cheat hacks. Stop that. We have one more group that we need to locate. We can do no problem. No problem. We run through all these potential fire hazards, for which we care not for. They're not a hindrance to us. Any meaningful capacity. Here we go. Sorry for leaving you guys behind. Here you go. My bad. Another thorn. Damn. I should have never re-rolled those. Well, I had 3 ords. Get a thorn. All of a sudden, now we have a gob of them. Oh, boy. Little spawner for those demon huts. Act 5 ends up having a lot of guest-starring monsters. A lot of old friends from the prior acts can appear. throughout this act. Which, I mean, that's great. Love this town portal so much, we'll use it twice. A crown, you say? Close to another level. Let's return to Qualkek for our reward.
Thank you for rescuing my men. They have spoken well of your bravery.
Yes, I failed to have a slot open. My bad. Game?
Good evening.
I did find my junk.
Evening.
Larzuk, take this. Take this, that's another 50,000. Definitely take that. Goodbye, Eisenhart's case. We knew ye well. Alright. And for what I suppose can be the final moment of this video, it'd be me flubbing up this damn rune word. Game teaches you about Ral Ort Tal. Fuck this up. Ral Ort Tal. Ancient's Pledge. Gives plus 50% enhanced defense. It gives a slew of resists, and 10% damage taken goes to mana, which I'm not really what I want to see. But, that maxes out my resists even with this off. Which means, get all that extra life, and that sweet, sweet extra damage. Good. Does that mean I want to sell Aratha's crown? I don't really want to sell it now. Use that to make a Ral rune. 4 Thuls now. Great. I mean, stick that shield there. I might change my mind about Ancient's Pledge. I don't think so. I think I'll just eat that loss there. That said, I might want to keep this for my transition to Nightmare difficulty. Unless I find something better. Which could certainly happen. Plenty of gold now. Shall sell this shield. We are, we kill. We kill pretty well unless we run into a lightning immune. And then we jab. Then we jab at them. As is our birthright. Okay. I have done...
There is a matter which I hesitate to share, but I believe you are the only one who can help me now.
Anya has disappeared, and Mala wants us to fetch it. The reward is a scroll of resistances, which, I mean, is not bad. Mine are maxed at 75 except for poison, which has an 80. But as we go up higher in difficulties, those extra resists will be useful. You know, it's resists like that that allow me to wear non-resist gear. Plus 55 to life. Man, 118, 1 to 118 lightning damage. 69 mana. Gorgeous. I'll talk to you folks in a bit. Take care.